They laughed at her uniform. They whispered behind her back that she was too weak, too fragile, too different to ever wear it with pride. But what none of them knew was that one day, the same soldiers who mocked her would stand frozen in silence, when a Navy SEAL, the toughest warrior among them, stood tall and saluted her. Stay with me, because this story will change the way you see courage forever. Elena Martinez had grown up in a small town where people told her exactly what her life would be. You'll never make it, they said. Girls like you don't belong in the military. She was the daughter of immigrant parents, barely scraping by, and every day she heard the same cruel whispers, that she was too soft, too short, and too emotional to survive in a world built for men twice her size. But Elena carried something within her no one could measure, determination carved out of every hardship she had ever faced. On her first day of training, it was worse than she imagined. The other recruits smirked when she struggled with the weights, rolled their eyes when she gasped for breath during runs. One even spat the words she could never forget. You'll wash out in a week. You don't belong here. And yet, every night when the lights went out, Elena whispered to herself, I do belong. And one day, I'll prove it. Training became a war. Not just with her aching muscles but with the doubts hurled at her like bullets. She rose earlier than anyone, pushed harder, and when her legs shook beneath her, she remembered her father's words. Strength isn't in the body, Mija, it's in the will. Slowly, the whispers began to fade. Not because they stopped doubting her, but because she refused to let them define her. Still, deep down, Elena feared that no matter how hard she fought, she would always be the outsider. It was graduation day. The recruits stood in perfect formation, the sun gleaming off their uniforms. Family and officers filled the stands, clapping, cheering. Elena's hands trembled at her sides, but her heart beat steady. She had made it here. Against every odd, she had not quit. Yet she could still feel the stares. The same voices whispered, she doesn't belong. And then it happened. As the ceremony reached its highest moment, a decorated Navy SEAL, Commander James Hart, a man whose name was legend in every military circle, stepped forward. The crowd hushed instantly. This was the man who had led daring rescues, who carried scars of battles no one else could imagine. The SEAL's eyes scanned the line of recruits, and then locked on Elena. To everyone's shock, Commander Hart walked directly toward her. For a moment, the air froze. Whispers rippled through the crowd, why her? What's happening? And then, before anyone could breathe, the commander stopped in front of Elena, his boots snapping to a halt. He raised his hand high, and with flawless precision, delivered a salute. The entire base went silent. Soldiers who had mocked her stood frozen, their mouths open. Cadet Martinez, Hart's voice carried across the field, I served with your brother. He gave his life to save mine. He told me you would carry his dream further than he ever could. And today, you've honored him. Tears filled Elena's eyes, but she stood tall, returning the salute with all the strength in her heart. In that moment, every doubt vanished. She wasn't the girl who didn't belong. She wasn't too small, too soft, or too weak. She was a soldier. And the same voices that had once laughed, were silent. Because they had seen the truth, belonging isn't something given. It's something earned.